just show you this part here is a little bit tricky. It's in step 17. It's the gun travel hook or gun travel lock. So when the main gun is lowered down, this supports it at the front of the tank. With the instructions, you've got to be very, very careful. There's two parts here that go together, and they sit like, and it forms like a hinge on the top so that it opens and closes. You got to be careful, don't glue those two ends. Okay, there's a little locating pin on this one that sits in, and then there's 2 points inside here which you do glue that holds it together, and then it rotates up and down to open and close it. You can glue those ones. The instructions are sort of clear, you just got to look at them a bit carefully. It doesn't tell you where to put the glue, it just tells you where not to put the glue. But I put two little touches inside there to hold the two bits together, and that clamps on that little locating pin there, and then you've got, this works as a lever. Okay, so now with this part, there's actually just some hinges down on the bottom here, brackets to go. It's 4 brackets to go on there, where it actually sits down on the front of the vehicle. So I'll continue on. I have taken off some more parts. There's a couple of shovels there from step, what was that? Step 17. It would be detailed. I've got some more tools in there from step 16. These are all the parts that I'm going to add after I've painted our vehicle. And from step 15, there's quite a lot there, including the spare tracks that sit on the front of the tank, I almost say tank all the time, don't I? On the body itself, there's been some parts added. So there's some like protection bars around the headlights. I was contemplating putting them on, but I figured that'll be fine. Once I spray this in our Mr. Surfacer black and then get our color on there, it'll create a bit of shadow detail, so I have no problem getting the paint in there. So yeah. Now, as for this going on the tank, I'm not sure. Once I put all this together, I will probably keep it separate and spray it off the tank. Yeah, that might be best because it doesn't get glued, this part, to the bracket so that it can rotate up and down. If I was to glue it while it's on the tank, the paint would probably stick it in place. We don't want that. All right, I will continue on, and there's a couple little bit more pieces for this on this step, and we'll move on further. Okay, so I'll be back in a second. Hey there, back again. I thought I'd show you this this piece completed, the gun travel lock, as it's called. So basically, quite a tricky bit. So we've got these two rods here, which seem to be extra braces, and they will connect down on the front of the vehicle. We've got two brackets on the bottom there. Actually, I had that upside down. So on the bottom, they will attach, but as you can see, this will swivel up. So you can open or close this. So they will attach down onto the front of the vehicle. So if I show you, for example, sort of going to go, you can see that basically on the front there. Yeah, anyway, I can't, it's a little bit tricky, but yeah, that's going to go on the front there and you'll be able to lift it up. There's also the mechanism at the top here, which opens and closes, which the barrel of the gun will sit in, and then you can close that. So yeah, quite a few pieces that need to be delicately handled. And as for the painting, well, I'm definitely going to spray this as a separate individual piece. and making sure that none of the paint causes any of this to, you know, not move as it's supposed to. Not sure how that's going to work, but I guess while it's drying, I could just sort of keep moving them up and down so that it doesn't actually set. Or I could hand paint this. In fact, that's probably the way to go, would be to get the brushes out and hand paint it, just to be safe. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with hinges that won't work, and yeah, it's not going to do as it should. But anyway, that's that piece. I'll pop that into a little container where it'll be safe. Should be all right in there. There we go. Label that as step 17 and we'll continue on. I think I already actually have that. Yeah, those shovels were step 17, so I'll drop it in with that. So yeah, most likely hand paint that. All right, so far so good. I'm moving on to just still going through here as what I can put on the tank, and what. So I've circled the pieces and crossed through and put a cross through ones that I've actually put on the tank, and the other ones are circled, which I didn't do there, the two shovels, but not crossed through, which tells me that they're not on the tank and they're waiting to get painted. So that's 17. Now we go to 18, which I haven't even looked at yet. And we've got some more subsections that need to be put on. These are attaching storage boxes. So we've got some storage boxes to build up here. They have some folding seats in there. It's a nice bit of detail. So the guys get to sit down when they're not busy. That's interesting. Yeah, so left and right of those. There's B17 and 18, a couple of little guards that go across there. I'd like to put them on, because if I remember, our B sprue, they're the last things on that sprue. There they are, 17, 18, and that's one sprue we can get rid of. So definitely be putting those on, I would say. Yeah, so I'm going to go and take these off. There are some holes to be drilled here, 1.5mm holes. That's for the seats, looks like for the seats to attach to the side here. Anyway, it's all good. I'll take these pieces off the sprue and we'll lay them out and have a look how we're going to paint them. But from what I can tell, it looks like these can be painted off the tank as separate pieces as well, depending on how they fit inside here. But we'll do that. We'll come back and have a look. Okay, back in a sec. Hey guys, welcome back again. So I moved on to step 18 with these storage boxes, and there they are. There's one. Nice detail on there. This is where the fold out seats go on here, and on the back we're going to drill out a couple of holes, 1.5mm holes, just two of them, the bottom of each one. That's where the seats will go into. There's also a top section to go on here, and then that will sit against the wall. Don't know if this is the correct side or not. This is the left one, so it should be. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. But they're going to go in like that. See? So it'll be one of these things that I'll be able to paint after. Like I can put this on now. I don't have to paint this separately, because that's gonna be fine. So yeah, let's just drill these holes out. It'll only take a sec. I got my little tungsten micro drill bits from Icky Sticky. Fantastic stuff. They're just so sharp. I mean, they go through, as you're about to see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's through. beautifully. And we'll do the other one. Make sure I haven't drilled them in upside down, which I haven't, so that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. No effort at all. So there's 2 of the holes. We'll do these 2. There's that one and this one. There we go. Done. And yeah, so that's going to stand up. This is, we work out which one that was. This was number 26. And 26 is the left-hand side. It's the left-hand side. So that will go, yes, we know exactly. That's going to go simply in there. And there'll be a piece to go on top. There. There's also a little locating spot in there too where that's going to sit against. And we've got the top piece there, which is so that's C number, is that C24? No, C36. So quick look. C36 is this one here. So that's the top of the locker. Just whip that one off. There you go. And you can see it's got the latch detail there, the lock on there. And that is just going to sit, I haven't trimmed it up so it won't now, but that's going to sit on top of there. Pretty much like that. Very good. So, yeah, I'll trim these pieces up. And actually, just then I just realized that was upside down. That's going to go that way. So that is actually the one that goes on this side. Yeah, because that's where the 2 seats are over this side. So this will be the one for, is that right? Don't want to get these things confused. No, that's right. That's going to go on that side. All right, I'll get these pieces off and we'll glue these in. Okay, we'll be back in a sec. Okay, so here we are doing the fold-up seats. And I've got one here that's just sitting there. It's not glued in. But what I've noticed is that the cushions on the back rest and the seat bottom rest are actually painted different to the rest of everything else, which is olive drab. They're XF49, which is khaki. So that's where that's going to be. That's that, which is the cushion on there and the cushion on the base. But when you put them together where they're supposed to be, they're going to be like this against each other, like that. Now, I thought, well, who's going to be able to see it then? But if you do look from the side, you can actually see the cushions from the side and the top, looking at the edge. So they do need to be painted khaki, which is no problem. So what I will do now is just have to paint those parts separate. Yeah, so I'll give them a, like I usually do, the black Mr. Surfacer. But those parts there, I think it'd be best to brush paint. I think that'd come up just as nice. So I'll brush paint the cushions on there in the khaki. And then I'll have to put them on later after that's sprayed. Otherwise they're going to get covered again. So, but not a problem. That'll be fine. I can still put that in. And I'm fairly sure, yeah, I shouldn't have any problem fitting these when that's already in place. Yeah, there'll be plenty of room to access to slide that down and put it in. So, yeah, no problem. All right. The other alternative is I could glue that one on, just the backing that goes on, and spray that the olive drab with the rest of the vehicle, and then come along with the brush and paint that while it's on there. That might be easier, and then this I'll do separately and be able to place it. That might work, although it's probably not going to make it any easier. Anyway, that's just an idea. What will I do? Yeah, I'll do them all separately and attach them on there with all the tools and everything else after everything's painted. Yeah, that's it. Decision made. All right, so now I'm going to finish. Well, I'll get these ready for painting actually. So I'll position them where I go. Put them on the little blue tack stick, ready to paint. And now I'm moving down to that's all for step 18. So when they're all completely painted up and done, I'll just pop them in a little container and they'll go aside with all the rest of the tools and everything. But step 19 is now attaching ammunition racks. Just show you. There's our ammunition racks here. We've got 2 of them, and they go in there as well somehow. Oh yes, they'll sit in the front of the tank, like in front of these lockers that I'm doing. There'll be one there and one there. So again, these are something that might make the brush not be able to get to some areas. So these, I'm thinking, would probably be best to paint separately and pop them in afterwards. Yeah, because there's a lot of these round bits here that I'm not going to be able to paint properly while they're in there. Okay, I'll get them off the rack, off the sprue, and we'll have a look at them and at least get them put them together. Okay, back in a sec. All right, so I've got all these ready to paint, and these are the other ammunition racks, 2 of them, and they just slide together like that. And so I'll glue those together, paint them, and they just sit. Bring this back out. And that will just sit in there like that. Now I won't be able to get paint in behind there, even though you can see in there. So I will paint these separately, along with these. And when the time comes, I can just drop them in there as well. All right. But of course, these can go in. I can glue these in. Don't know why I left those out, but yeah, so they will go like that. You can see that sits in there, and that'll get painted in there. All right. Slowly getting some bigger bits together. So I'll just join these up, and there's a few more little pieces here that can go on the rear of the vehicle here. Some more tow bar towing sort of anchor points. It looks like photo etch is going on there. There's a bracket holding that, so definitely I'll be able to put those on, I think. Or are they part of the mud guards that I left off? Let me have a quick look. And no, there's no reason why they can't go on. Yeah, that'll go on there. And then over the page, we've got a winch cable and winch. That will obviously have to be built separately and placed on after. We'll get to that. But what I might do is get all these painted up and at least undercoated anyway. All right. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Hey, welcome back. So I got all those parts painted up, and more than just undercoated, I got them base coated. So here's the these parts here, and they're all painted up and finished. So they're the artillery ammunition racks, I think that was. Yeah. Yeah, ammunition racks. So they're all done and ready to drop on when the actual hull's painted. So I put those in a little container on the side. These were the ends of those two guards that I didn't want to put on in case they interfered with the tracks going on. They're fully painted up, as well as the little metal box that was sitting on the side. That's in that step 16, so they're all right to go. And then step 14, I don't know if I showed you those. Those were those extra lot of rollers that needed to be done. So I've finished all those up as well. It's been a really nice hot warm day here, and the paint's dried really quick, so it's been fine. Here's the folding chairs that sit against these walls that we have put in. So I think I showed that in the video. So that's there in, and these will fold. I can put these in afterwards, again after this is painted. But what I've got to do is paint the seats. So I've made up some khaki paint here with a little bit of thinner. I've got myself a brush ready, and I've just got to paint the cushions on the tops, on the backs, and the bottoms of these chairs. Like I said, they do fold up against each other, but you can see them. They're not completely covered, so I will be painting them. So yeah, it's just simply brush paint them is the best way. I'll just give them a couple of coats and go along there, and they should come up all right. When they're dried, I'll glue them together and they'll be ready to slot in there at a later date. And then, of course, I still have not looked over beyond with this winch and other parts yet, but yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, it's coming along good. So I'll get these painted up, and I'll let them dry and glue them together, and then we'll have a look at them. Well, I can't put them on yet because that all needs to be painted, but we've got some really nice khaki there, which is what the cushions will be on these. So I'll get that done now, and I shall return. Okay, back shortly. Hey there, back again. So all the seat cushions are painted. They've got 2 coats of khaki on them, and they come up looking fine. I'm just letting them dry properly before I glue them together and then put them away for putting on the hull later. In the meantime, I moved on to step 20, which is the winch. Now the winch, I'll show you in the instructions. So it has some thread which we've got, which is the cable, which needs to be knotted and put in here when these are joined together, and then wound around here, it says approximately 20 times, and then to apply some extra thin cement to set it in place. And then that just hangs out, because that is part of the cable that goes all the way around the back and operates that, well, I guess it's like a shovel here. So as you can see, it comes all the way around here and supports that. Now the problem I have is that I can't put that on and wrap it around and put all this together and then paint it, because I don't want to paint the cable. So what I'm going to do is individually paint all the parts, which I've taken off here, and I'm going to get them all undercoated and then done in the olive drab. And then when that's all dry, I'll put it together with the cable through it to the point where it's together like that. Then in the next step, it goes down onto the platform here, which is one of the panels, and the thread just continues through that panel. So, but it'll already be painted, so the thread will be fine, if that makes sense. Okay. There's lots of little bits, including some photo etch, all for this platform where the winch ends up sitting on the side of the vehicle here. Okay, So quite a bit of work. Yeah, there's photo etch grill goes down there like a mesh piece, and there's the winding part for the winch. I don't know why they say to put that on later after. I don't know why it isn't part of putting it together up here. It doesn't interfere with anything else. You know, it's quite easy. So because it's going to be painted that color, I figure, well, I'll take that off and paint it with the other parts too and put it all together with the winding lever on it as well. Yeah, and as for that platform, I'll put everything on it that goes on there except for the winch, which will already be painted up, and then spray all that. And then when time comes, I can drop that on top and then continue the thread through. And yeah, all works out. Okay, so I'm going to get all these little seats all glued together and put away in their little container, and get these ready on. I use these little alligator clips here, and get them ready all to be painted. Okay, so I'll be back when these are done. Okay. Okay, welcome back again. So let's have a look at where we're at here on step 20, which was the winch. I've just painted all the parts for that, so they're all drying at the moment. But in the meantime, this is where it goes. So the winch will go on the back of here, and the cable will thread down through that hole and come out here. Now I can do that after this goes on. So this part is actually going to go in there pretty much exactly like that. All right, so that's not going to interfere with anything being sprayed, so I can spray that on here with everything else. This side here is the other side. I don't know if you can see, but there was little photo etch bracket on there as well as on here. And this one will go on this side. Do that. It'll go pretty much exactly like that. Now, let me just check the fit of that, because that seems to be sticking out a little bit down there. Oh, I see. There we go. All right. And yeah, that's fine. So that's going to go on there. That stays. So again, this piece, I'm pretty sure I can glue. Yeah, I'll be able to glue that in as well. All right. So that's what I'm going to do now. Then the only other thing other than putting the winch in, which can still be attached to the back of there at a later date, is, let me have a look. There's a little pulley system, a little pulley that you don't glue in, but it just hangs on this hook here. It says don't glue it, so I may attach that, or maybe that's something I need to paint first. I'm thinking I need to paint that first. You can look at the instructions and see there it is there. We've also got the piece of photo etch that sits here, and that will sit across that. That can go on now as well. And that's as far as we can go on step 21. Yeah, so the winch will go into my parts collection of sub-assemblies and be placed on after this is completely painted. All right, and then we'll move on to step 22. But first of all, now I'm just going to go and glue these on. And I'm just concerned that that doesn't seem to sit flush on there. Just wondering what's holding it back. And I know, it's fine. It just sits in there a bit tighter. All right, I'll get this glued and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I put those on. I might just mention they were such a really perfect fit, eh? Like the way they've just gone in there is just really nice. Like there's about 3 or 4 connecting points where they sit, and everything lined up just really, really perfect. Now this is the photo etch I've taken off, and it just sits down on this little spot here. Just going to drop that in there just to show where that's going to go, which I was just about to put on the wrong way around, which would not help. And there it is there. And again, perfect fit. So that little grill will sit in there. I'll glue that now. And that will be it for step 21. Then we'll move on. We've got, looks like there's a spade here that we need to put together. There it is there. Spade parts. I don't know what that is. D93. Some sort of a pulley system. I don't know if that's part of that or separate. Anyway, it'll be over the page, I'm sure. Okay. All right, let me just glue in that photo etch. I'll be back shortly. Hey, welcome back. So I'm working on the parts for what's called the spade, which is this section here. All right. Now, on step 22, we put together these parts here, which are these are sort of like the supports that come down. So they pivot on there, and they will join onto here so that the spade can be raised and lowered. On this section, which will connect onto the spade somewhere, I'm thinking up here, I'm not sure, has a couple of pulleys on there, and this is where that cable from the previous part that I'm putting together shortly, because it paint's dry, I'll be able to put that together shortly. The cable will come down through that, which is, if you can imagine, put that there. So it's going to come out of here where the winch is, come down, go through one of those pulleys which is connected to the spade here, run along. I'm just trying to think of the position that's going to be in. It's going to be like that. Yeah, like that. All right, and run along that and through another pulley, and then come back up here to this little one that's connected on there. Okay, this is the support for the spade, so it's going to sort of connect in here in some way, but there's still a lot more pieces, as I'll show you, to go on there. So you'll see that I've got most of these on, except these ones aren't on yet. That'll all connect together. And then we move across here, there's a few more brackets to go on the front, on the top there. They're those pulleys, go on either side, and the cable will go through to support it all. Now, I'm going to hold off here today, and because I've got something special ordered. It's a new sanding tool, and I want to test it on here. So where the connections were, where the sprue was connected, it's left those marks there. You see those marks? Okay. Now, I've deliberately not cleaned them up yet because I want to test this new tool that's going to come tomorrow in the mail. At least I hope so. So that's what I'm going to do next. We'll have a look at that. In the meantime, I'm going to go and glue together all the painted parts for the winch, which will go in here, and we'll put that on later. But once all this is assembled, I'll be able to spray all this separately, or maybe even attach it like it's telling us to in the next step here, actually attaching it onto there. I don't see why I can't spray it as part of the whole hull as well, unless some of this mechanism might get in the way of putting the tracks on, in which case I'll paint this separately and then put it on separately. We'll see about that. Okay, so to you guys, I'll be back in about 1 3/4 seconds, but for me it'll be the next day. Hopefully I'll have this new sanding tool and we'll be able to have a look at it. Okay, I will see you shortly. Okay, welcome back everyone. It's the next day and I did get my new sanding stick, and here it is here, the Razor. See that there, Razor. And to be honest, I've already tried it out and I'm pretty happy with it. So there's our Gunprimer. It's Gunprimer because these are used specifically for Gundam stuff, but they're all for all hobbyists. So there it is there. So it's tapered glass. It has this nanotechnology. I can really feel it gripping when I run my finger across that. And the idea was, as they said, was you just, where your nub was and the pieces on there, you just run this across it and the end result is perfectly smooth. And I can run my nail across there. There were 3 nubs on there, 1, 2 and 3. Can't feel a thing. So much better than sandpaper. Such a smoother finish. You can't see any sanding marks on any other part of the plastic at all. And it takes, what, 30 seconds for a small area like those each, just to give them a, just go over. And it doesn't build up plastic in here so very much. So the idea they suggest is just wipe it with a cloth, run it under water, or use some masking tape just to run it on there and peel it off, and that'll lift all the not sawdust, plastic dust out of it. But yeah, it works really good. So I'll be using that. You'll see that throughout the rest of the model when I'm working. Definitely worthwhile. If you're interested in getting one of these, I mean, I'm not making any profit or anything from it at all. It's just my suggestion. Is the only supplier in Australia is a hobby shop in Canberra, and their service is fantastic. I mean, literally all I did was rung them and ask them about it, and then when I got this sent to me, it was a Friday afternoon that I rung them and said I'll order it. And I jumped online, ordered it online, and then I got a notification that it had already been sent to the post office, and it pretty much arrived within 2 days. But they also gave me this little card with it, with a big thank you for contacting us, and hoping that they enjoy, hoping that I get good results from it, and yeah, really nice, and a thank you for your order. So that was really good of them. So definitely worthwhile. I'll leave a link in the description, not only to the shop but also to the website. On the website it shows you their distributors worldwide where you can get these. Now they're not cheap. This was I think it was about $35 plus about $8 postage. But you're only ever going to buy one of these, and you're not going to buy sanding sticks anymore, and they never wear out. So it's a pretty good investment. And they do work good. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I'm not going to do a review of it or anything like that. There's plenty of reviews of them online on YouTube, so you can go and check it out. Yeah, the Razor Gunprimer. All right, let's get on to this. So that's done and right to go on to that. But there's also some more parts to go on here, lots of parts to go on the top of here. We've got different brackets and all sorts of stuff. So I will do as they suggest and connect this onto here. Just trying to work out where that's going to go. Figure it out. Yeah, I think it goes to the back like that. And then and then we'll move on from there and get some more of these pieces off the sprue and tidy them up with my new razor. I don't know, what we call a razor shaver. All right, I'll be back shortly. Okay, so there's our shovel all put together. We've got these levers here that will hook onto the back. We've got our pulleys on either side, which the rope or cable will go through. Now I've noticed that you can have this in an up or down position. Just depends on how you set up your cable. So you can have it up like this or down. I want to put the platform on the back in the down position with the extension on there, which means I'll need to have this down in the down position like that. I think I can attach this after this hull is painted. I'll paint all of that like it is separately, and then we'll attach it to the vehicle, and that should be fine, and that way we can install all of this over the top, or maybe even paint this. I don't know if this swivels up and down at this stage. I don't think it does. It's going to be locked in that position. Yeah, it will. So there's the profile shot there, so you can see the shovel down. There's our platform. Okay, all good. So I will put that aside for now. I won't be painting that yet. I'll probably prime that at the same time as I do the hull. And we'll just move on now to step 26. As for the cable, that'll be the last thing I install once it's all painted up and on there. Okay, now there was one little hook down here that I left off because I actually, if you remember, I lost a piece and I still haven't found it. There is another one on the sprue, which is probably to be used later on somewhere else, but I really do need it there because the cable, when it threads through and goes up through that pulley and comes down, it ties off on that particular one there, which I have missing. Yeah, so what I will do is I will put that one from the one in the sprue, and hopefully the one that I'm using isn't somewhere really prominent further on. But anyway, okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back and I'm working on the rear gate, which is this checker plate piece here, and just working on the supports underneath. One's going to go like, I think it goes that way in there somehow. The other one's going to go in here. I might just want to mention too, this thing is really quite amazing actually. Where the sprue attached onto here, I've just sanded it and it only takes a few seconds, and there's no sign that there was ever anything attached there. All I see is plastic like everywhere else around. You wouldn't know that there was sprue attached there. It cleans it up so well. Same with on here, there's a little, the sprue attachment was there and you can't tell at all. There's no marks, there's no sanding marks, there's nothing at all. Really, really good. Anyway, so yeah, so these pieces, just looking at how they go in, it's going to be like that. So that one's going to go in there, and that one will go there like that. And now there'll be a couple of an X piece across there, D20. What's that look like? Is it D? Yeah. All the other bits have been C, and now we've got to do D. Have a look. D sprue. There it is. There, I can see it. There's the cross member there. That's going to go across the bottom. It's like a brace. This is all on the underside of this platform. Well, here we go. We'll take this off. Just snip it off like this. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and like I say, with this thing, just to clean them up, it's just a matter of doing this so you can see. I'm just going to run across. When you start, you can feel it grabbing where the sprue was, and then it sort of smooths out. Then you just go in the other direction a bit, like that. Yeah, it's working well. The hardest part is finding somewhere to hold on because the parts are so small. I think that's it. It came off. Yeah, I can just barely run my nail across that and feel it there. Just doing a little bit more. Kind of like that. There we go. So there it is there, the piece. Nothing there at all. There's no way you can tell that there was any sprue connection there. There's the next one there. Just got to be a little bit careful you don't break the parts, of course, like for sanding anyway, especially when they're small like this. But yeah, you just run it across there like that. It's almost done. There. You can feel it when it's running across there smoothly. I run my nail there. I can't feel anything at all. I can still see a little spot where it was, but if you just go a little bit more further, like that, goes like that. There you go. Get rid of the dust. And it's gone. There's nothing there. Really, really good. All right, so I'll keep going with this. This piece is just going to go, just looking at the way that's sitting, and it's going to go, oh, sort of like that, I think. Yeah, there's a couple little notches for it to go into down there, and it'll sit across. But anyway, they'll glue in first so they won't move around, and then I'll put that one on. And then that's it. There is another platform that's going to come off here as well that's extended out with a railing that they hold on to. I'll also grab that off the sprue and we'll put that together. All right, we'll be back in a sec. Okay, so let's have a look here. So this is all put together, and this is going to go on the back here. Now it goes in here, and I'm trying to put it in. I'm thinking, why is that not fitting in there properly? And then I remembered, if you remembered back a couple of episodes ago where I didn't drill the 2 holes in there, that's where these little fellas are supposed to go. So what I was thinking of doing was lining them up, putting a mark on those and getting that to leave a mark in there, and then I could drill the holes. But then I realized the easiest way is just cut those nubs off. Put that in there, it'll sit flush and everything will be fine. And with that whole bit glued on there, it's going to probably be even better connection than it would just using those. So that's what I'll do, put that on. Now when that's in place, there's chain we've got that's got to run from here to here, from here up to here. Now the instructions are a bit unusual because they say cut change to 70 millimeters, and they've got a measuring mark there to do that, which is good. And then secure using enameled wire. and they've got some wire that's somehow twisted around, and it's really not clear at all how that's connected at the top. There is two parts, D1 and D1, that need to be put in there, and but it's same with the bottom, same with this side, using enameled wire, which is strange. Down the bottom it seems to be, it's also pointing to using enameled wire for the bottom points down on here as well. Now there is wire that came with the kit in here. I don't know if that's just copper wire. I don't know if that's the wire they're talking about. It might be. So I'm going to go and look into that. But either way, that chain will go on after this is sprayed, because I don't want to paint that chain. The chain is already a nice, you know, grey colour that I want it to be. So, yeah, so that leads us to when this is glued on. I think that's about it for everything that needs to go on here, and we can start thinking about priming this entire hull, because over the instructions on the next step, we're going to start working on the cradle and the gun mount and all the parts that are connected to that, which goes down in one piece into the center here. All right. And of course, once I get all this undercoated and then done in olive drab, then we can start putting on all these sub sections and that we've previously all made up. They can all start getting put on. All right, but I will just go through the rest of the instructions. I had a quick look, but I'm going to go through again and just make sure there's nothing else I need to add that would be best to have on there when I spray. But at this stage, it looks like everything is on there. And the gun itself, when we get to doing this, we'll work that out, but that'll go on as a separate piece already painted up when we get around to that. All right. Okay, welcome back everybody. So I've finished priming our hull and some of the accessories we put on. Let me just grab them for you and I'll show you. All right, so there's the hull, all done in Mr. Surfacer, Mr. Finishing Surfacer 1500 black, and there it is, all painted up, and looking ready for its primary base coat, primary coat yet to go on. Looks all right, eh? Hope you can see that dark on the camera, but there you go. Now I've also done the tray, the platform for the back here, and that's it there. That's all been sprayed up. Again, all in black primer, which that is going to sit pretty much just in there when it's finished painted. These things I can't pronounce. They're painted up to drop onto the front. Hatches, they're not hatches, but you know what I mean. Now there's clear parts to go in there, the glass to go in there, but that'll be after the final olive drab coat that'll go on. So yeah, they're ready. And then we've got our big shovel for the back here, or for the front, the back, yeah. And that is also all painted up in the, and ready for its main coat. So I'm looking forward to doing this. So this video is getting close to the end. I was going to just call it quits here and we'll come back in the next, but no, I won't make you hold out. So what I'm going to do is go and spray these now, let them dry, and I'll come back and show you before we finish off this video and move and continue on, which we'll be able to put a few things in here once this is all painted up, because we've got all our little parts over here which we all painted up previously, just waiting to go on there, the racks and mud guards and so forth. And of course there's the bogies and the tracks and the rollers, plenty to do. All right, I'll get these sprayed up and we'll come back and have a look at them. Cheers, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So here it is, all sprayed up in the olive drab. Come up really nice, I'm happy with that. I really think that that black primer coat really helps make the shadow details in amongst this look really good. There you go. So that's all painted up. Now I've also done, there's the tray on the back. And I did a thinner coat on that because I did want to show a bit of grey coming through, because this is going to get a lot of wear and tear, and obviously when I weather it, it's going to have that as well. But yeah, so that's going to attach onto the back there like that. Looks good. Also have these copulars sit on the top of here. They're done. Get them to fit in the way they're supposed to go. Like that. Looking good. Be able to put the glass in there. Okay. And of course the bulldozer piece as well is all painted up to go on the front underneath. All right, so there we go, progressing really well. Okay, so thank you all for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up if you like the video. If you've got any comments down below, please, comments are welcome. And I'll see you all back in what will be, or what part are we up to? Yeah, that'll be part 5. Okay, I hope to see you all then. Cheers all. Bye for now.